Ladies, gentlemen, hey, how are you doing? It's been a minute. I hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday, a happy new year. I've been out for obvious reasons with with the holidays. I took a little bit of a break. I hope everybody took some time to unwind and enjoy themselves. And Unfortunately, I have to come back and uh, keep talking my Jaguars. I'm gonna definitely, keep the faith with it, because at the end of the day, if you don't love your team when you're down, do you really love your team? You know, and so there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the Jaguars that I haven't already covered because it's been that bad. There's only so many different ways I can tell you how bad we are. I called it coming into the season. I knew several moves we made were the wrong ones. I've been proven right in several ways. And it's frustrating because I want to do more. And all I can do is make these YouTube videos. And with your guys' help, hopefully, it goes viral. Hopefully, the right people see, and maybe, who knows? Maybe I can contribute in even some small way. But for now, I'm gonna just keep giving my opinion. I hope you guys enjoy it and help. Please continue to help grow the channel. Like, subscribe, and let's just dive, I guess, into the Jags. We got blew out by the Patriots. I don't even know what we scored. Did we score a touchdown? I think we did at the end. It was 50. That's how bad it is. Where now things are just ho hum, and I'm not even trying to care that much about it because it doesn't matter what the score was. We got beat the fuck up, and that's really all there is to it. There's nothing good coming from what I'm seeing. I actually think I see quit in the team, and who can blame them? But as a guy, I've talked about pride and ownership and having pride in who you are, and so that's where it's a little disconcerting. Is I want to see heart. Um, and I'm not seeing much of it. Trevor Lawrence is saying a lot of the right things, but he's not playing well. The offensive line is not blocking. Although they put a stat out that Walker Little had a great game, and I don't put a lot of stock in that because, truth be told, the Patriots don't have phenomenal pass rushers. Matthew Judon played limited in that game, so I mean, I have hopes that Walker Little can, round out into something. But I'm not holding my breath. So the only good thing we got going is the draft. And I'm looking forward to that, but before I can even look forward to that, I need to know who we're gonna hire. And why are we keeping Trent Baalke? So these are the things running through all of our minds, I know. And it's people keep asking me who do I want to hire as a head coach. And if you guys have been following, if you got you already know that I'm not the biggest fan of all these coordinators that everybody's in love with. You guys know I'm also a Cowboy fan, and people have asked me my opinion about Kellen Moore, and people have asked me my opinion about Byron Leftwich as well. And I don't like either for the head coaching job, that is. And the reason for that is we have what's supposed to be a thoroughbred quarterback prospect, right? Both guys are offensive guys, so I understand why people, want to gravitate towards, hiring a offensive mind, and they want to hire an offensive mind from these teams that have great offenses, right? And skill wise, what they do, they're fine. But I want experience. Haven't we kind of already done this? We hired an inexperienced head coach and it didn't go well. And you guys want to hire Kellen Moore and Byron Leftwich, who haven't been at their offensive coordinator positions for very long. And to top it off, Do they have the temperament for Jacksonville? And what I mean by that is our attitudes down here is different, man. Like you have to. I literally question if anybody actually enjoys being a Jaguar. Like if anybody takes pride in being a Jaguar. We get guys in here, all they want to do is leave, and they seem to all be out for self. I don't know. This generation of player is different. Back in the day, people appreciated and loved what they did, and you could kind of see that. Like Calais Campbell was the last guy I really remember that. Hey, he's a Jaguar. Like he was proud to be a Jag. Like he's the last guy I remember having that kind of pride and ownership. Josh Allen was the same way. I don't know how he feels now. I know it's his first 3 years have been rough to have to suffer through this. So it's tough. So back to the temperament. Do you have the kind of temperament to command and demand more from players? And Kellen Moore looks like a high school kid. Byron Leftwich, do y'all even remember Byron Leftwich? Byron Leftwich is kind of that cool cat. Like he doesn't raise his voice. Like I don't. Does he come off like a guy somebody would listen to? And I'm sure they don't do this anymore. Like a guy that can grab a guy by the face mask and demand that he listen to him. Like, do you see that in Byron Leftwich? And we need that here. We need somebody that has the kind of temperament to whip kind of this team into shape, but also while trying to, not offend the new age player as well. That like we need somebody that can strike a balance. And I don't know if those guys are it. And again, they haven't been. Not only have they not been at their job, and if I had to choose between the two, I would go Kellen Moore. And no, it's not because I'm a Cowboy fan. It has a lot to do with he's a guy that okay, if I'm choosing between two offensive coordinators, he's a guy that like that offense seems to be very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very well run offense. He understands balance. He understands innovative. That's the word I was looking for. In scheme, like he's very good with that. With the schematics. So I would choose Kellen Moore. The reason I would choose Kellen Moore over Byron Leftwich is because Byron Leftwich, I'm not sure how much of that offense he truly runs. He has Tom Brady, a quarterback who's essentially a coach, and he's running Bruce Arians' offense. Now, they've been saying that he's been running the offense for the last couple of years, and that's fine. But Bruce Arians was an offensive coach. He's had a penchant for offense, and I have, issue with, taking a coordinator from a guy who, it's his offense. Like I would at least need to see more from Byron Leftwich, preferably without the greatest quarterback of all time. And then maybe I'd have a better opinion. You can't say that for Kellen Moore. He's been working with Dak Prescott for a few years now. For some reason, he's been a hot name for head coaching positions in college. It's been rumored. There's even a rumor that he might be, coaching waiting if they fire McCarthy. Those are things that come to mind if I have to choose. It's also why I'm not a fan of Eric Bieniemy either, because Andy Reid is an offensive genius. How much of it is Eric Bieniemy? How much of it is Andy Reid? So, but of the three, right now, I said Kellen Moore over Byron Leftwich. Of the three, I would take Bieniemy. Bieniemy's been at it longer than those guys. He's been in the league coaching longer than both guys, and he seems to be the kind of guy that can command and demand respect and the players he may respect. So I would go Bieniemy. Now, my dream scenarios, like there's not really a coach out there that I'm like, man, I love that coach. For me personally, I'm not saying they're going to go this route. I hope they do. The only thing that I don't like about Jim Caldwell is he's a former Colt. But if I were hiring a coach, right, the two coaches that come to mind, and a third one popped to mind, but the first two that came to mind were Jim Caldwell and Todd Bowles. Now, Jim Caldwell's another guy that, I gotta wonder. He's an older gentleman. Does he have the temperament, to deal with some of the attitudes we have here in Duval and to whip the team back into shape? Is that gonna work here? My only issue with him was that he was a Colt. It feels kind of wrong. But the guy's been successful. He took Detroit to the playoffs. He's won a Super Bowl with the Colts. These are just things that when he walks in the door, he has pedigree. You have to respect his experience. Todd Bowles, very highly respected defensive coach. I am more for bringing in defensive minded player coaches because the offensive minded guys have a tendency to get too cute and not value the the defensive side of the ball. I think the defensive side of the ball is very important, um, more important than the offense, because if the defense is going to always keep you in a game, you don't have to have this high flying offense, and you don't have to win 30-28, right? So I've always been partial to defensive guys. You get a good. I think defense wins championships is something I really believe, unless you just have this spectacularly special offense like Kansas City had been for the last few years. So that's where I'm at with it. I would like Jim Caldwell or Todd Bowles. Very highly respected. We already run not a 4-3, a 3-4 defense. He's had experience with 3-4 defense. That's what he likes to run. And he's had success as a D coordinator. I know it didn't go well in New York, but look at New York. And I know you can say, well, we're not no better, but I'd like to think that maybe he's learned a thing or two, and that's something that can translate in his second go round. He's highly respected for a reason. He was very successful with the Cardinals as a D coordinator, and he's successful again as a D coordinator for the Bucks. I think he walks in the door and establishes a better culture than what we have. You get a good defensive minded coach and put some offensive, get a good offensive staff. I think that's the makings of a good turnaround. The one outside of the box thought that I have is, and two things would have to happen for this to happen. I would love Jim Harbaugh. Love Jim Harbaugh. Okay. He hasn't been great in college. That's fine. But he has a track record for success in the NFL. The 49ers were horrible until he got there, and he turned them into a Super Bowl team with Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith. All right. He turned that team around. Now, it can't work with Trent Baalke as a GM. That is his mortal enemy. Those two hate each other. They had a very bad falling out in San Fran, and I'm sure he's bitter about it. But if you can get Jim Harbaugh, it's a guy who's been successful. He was a former quarterback. He understands just on a fundamental level how to win games, right? And everywhere he's gone, he's been successful. That is a guy I would love to bring to Duval, and it would also have the added bonus of probably getting Trent Baalke fired. So that's my thoughts, Jags fans. Let me know what you guys think. As far as the number one overall pick, I love me some Kayvon Thibodeaux. If you're going number one overall, Kayvon Thibodeaux or bust. I don't want Evan Neal. I don't want Hutchinson at the number one pick, even though, I'm not going to be mad, but I just don't think Hutchinson has the potential to be the game record that Thibodeaux is. And I really like Derek Stingley. I just don't know if you go with him number one overall. But those are my thoughts, Jags fans. Hit your boy up in the comments, like, subscribe. Please keep supporting, and keep trucking, guys. Go Jags.